Good morning, folks. Welcome to Frozen and Frozen Florida. It is a holiday, but I am going to do a quick video to get you going on week number 2. Make sure everybody's in good shape for the week ahead. We're going to look at the course first. So let me go ahead and open. I want to go to the syllabus first, even though I'm not in student view yet. I can't be in student view and open the concourse syllabus. So ignore all the extra doodads over there. But I always like to look at the schedule before launching into the walkthrough. So we're, of course, as you now know, in week 2, it is really super important that you did the introduction and the syllabus quiz from last week. I will have to be reporting initial attendance by the end of this week. And so that's what's used to determine that you have indeed engaged in the class. So if you've signed in, but you haven't done the assignments, you need to do the assignments. Otherwise, I have to count you absent, and then they can remove you from the course. Or worse yet, if they don't remove you from the course and you don't finish the course, then you get a grade in the course. Always bad. So just do the stuff and then you don't have to worry about things. So last week, of course, was mostly about getting familiar with Canvas and with each other. I really enjoyed reading everybody's introductions and seeing all the photos. I know we had some technical difficulty getting photos on the Canvas, but you guys did a fabulous job with that. And with the syllabus quiz, there's always a couple on the syllabus quiz that end up miscoded or something happens. So you may notice that I have manually changed a grade. If there was a problem with the question, I would have given you credit even if it counted it wrong initially. So you can check your overall grades on the quiz, of course, but you can also trust that I did double check your answers and make sure that you got all the points that you earned. So this week too, we have 2 assignments. One is a quiz we're going to do some review of APA. Most of you have encountered APA at least once. If you took English here at Lake Sumter, I know that you have, and an interest inventory, because this first part of the course, we're sort of doing some deep diving into our own interests and our own experiences, what we're interested in, that sort of thing. This particular course is one of my favorites to teach because it allows each of you to really dig into the field of study that you're interested in, rather than me telling you, oh, you have to write a paragraph about a computer or whatever the case may be. But that also means that it's a challenging course because we've got people who absolutely 100% know what they want to do for a living. We have people who are already doing it, and who are back in education for an advancement or whatever. So we also have people who've never had a paying job or are still dual enrolled and have, 14,000 classes in school going on. So there's not a lot of time for anything else. And they may not be familiar or not familiar, that's not the right word. They may not know yet what they want to pursue. So this interest inventory is going to get us thinking in the directions of what are some areas of study that we are interested in enough to pursue for this course. So you may have a very clear idea. I want to be a this, I'm going to get this degree and then this degree and then this. You may have a plan. And if you do, awesome. But you're going to share that plan here at the beginning, so that we can get everybody in an area that is helpful. So that's what we're working on this week. We're going to learn about writing technical writing and report writing. There's a lot of writings in that sentence, but anyway. And we're also going to focus on the fact that for this particular class, because we're doing professional writing, it makes sense that we're going to use APA throughout the course. So that's what we're going to be reviewing and focusing on and learning. One of the things that people get real testy about or get real confused about is I've never used APA, or I've barely used it. I'm not familiar with it and I'm scared. The reality is that nobody is 100% perfect at documenting sources and using a format strategy. So whether it's MLA, APA, Chicago style, whatever it is, the goal is not to memorize it. The goal is to know where to go to get the information that you need to make sure that your format is right and that you're documenting your sources correctly. So that's what we're going to focus on. Not necessarily that you have to become genius APA citers, although that would be great. As soon as you remember all the rules of APA, they're going to change them. So that's another reason not to worry about memorizing how to cite sources. They update them all the time, especially in the modern world with all the technology and all the things that evolve. So memorizing it is kind of a waste of your brain space. But knowing where to go for the information, that's important. All right, so let's go ahead and go back to the main course. I'm going to turn on the student view so it looks more familiar to you. There's the right amount of buttons. I will tell you, I will give you a little giggle on a Monday morning, hopefully. I am working on a technical certificate, a graduate certificate in instructional design at UCF. So I am currently a student, just like you. And one of the courses that I had to take for this particular certificate, the professor he's brilliant, he's genius, but his course had so many links over here open on the left. I was like, oh, dude, please let me help you restrict that. Having too many things to click on is never a good thing. All right, so anyway, we are going to the modules and we are in week 2. So as usual, as we've talked about last week, there are learning materials and then there are earning materials. So you have the week 2 learning materials, which is where you're going to do all of your readings and videos and whatnot. And then you're going to take your 2, you're going to do your 2 assignments. Now the quiz, I'm not going to open, it's a quiz. You guys can take that. I am going to go over the interest inventory, but we're going to go through the learning materials first, just like you should. You have a chapter from our textbook. It is a PDF textbook. It is a real book that a school published, but they made it accessible for everybody. So we have saved it in PDF form, which makes it a little bit easier. And you're going to be reading chapter 1. So you click on this, it's going to open for you, and you're going to go to those pages and read them. Now, unfortunately, I think they were able to get, no, they were not able to get the links to work correctly. Our library worked on this for a long time and I applaud them and I thank them for their efforts, but I know it's really a pain. You're going to have to scroll to page 9, but anyway, you'll be okay. So you're going to read, oops, I didn't mean to go all the way back there. That's where I'm getting behind myself. So you're going to read pages 6 to 18. And then you're going to have some videos that are aimed at reviewing APA with you. So you have an overview of APA, then you have how to create a reference list in APA, and then you have internal citations in APA. Now, I know that I have chunked these up, which is helpful, but I also know that all of them are fairly long videos. So they're 12 minutes, 21 minutes, and 10 minutes. So I know that that's going to take a little while. They are in YouTube, I think. No, these are in the old system. But you can still start and stop it. They're not going anywhere. So if you need to take a break or whatever, but I definitely wanted them divided into the 3 topics. So take a look at those. And then you're going to have an article about how to explore interest and about self-reflection, because that's what we're doing. So you click on this article, read that, and then you're ready to go earn your points. So like I said, with the earning this week, I'm not going to click on the APA quiz, but I am going to go over the interest inventory with you. You will notice that for the interest inventory, this is not a discussion board. This is something that you're going to turn in. So this is a formal writing assignment. And you are going to give it to me in what's called a file upload, which means you're going to need to create this in Word. You have free access to Word in as a Lake Sumter student. So please do take the time, get the Microsoft 365 going and use it. You can use Google Docs. Nobody's going to stop you. I know it's free. But when you're in Google Docs, you're going to need to save it on your computer as a Word document and then upload it to the assignment. So it's an extra step. 365 will help you. And honestly, you just need Word. You do. You just need it. Just like you need Excel and you need PowerPoint. So when you do the Office 365, you get all those things for free and you get to use them in their full version. So last sales pitch for Microsoft there. So in English 2210, we're going to be focusing on writing for technical and professional purposes. So part of that is getting prepared by putting some thought into where you've been and into where you're going. So in this report, you're going to be sharing your interests. So this is not necessarily, we are going to do an assignment later that is a precursor to a resume, but this is not necessarily that. I want you to think of this as sort of a fun assignment because you're going to be exploring your interests. These may or may not be things that you can earn a living at. Okay. So you're going to have a formatted document. It's going to be APA. You'll have a cover page. You're going to have the body that starts on page 2, and then you're going to have a references list. Make sure when you are looking at APA formatting that you are using the most current information. And the Lake Sumter State College Library's Citation Center is the best place for that information. There is a link to it on our homepage. I'll show you that before we go. A lot of people are using an older template for APA. So it has a running head. We don't use that anymore, which thank goodness, that was hard to make. We also don't use an abstract on page 2 anymore. So if you're using that, you're in an outdated, if that's what you're looking at, you're in an outdated source. Feel free to make this report visually interesting with headings, subheadings, and visuals. I want you to learn how to do those things this semester. So this is a good one to kind of try it out without having a lot of high stakes. When you're doing that and you're writing reports, I know in APA we double space everything, but sometimes if you're using bulleted lists and things like that, it looks kind of silly to double space them. So you have a little bit of freedom in terms of how you format the document inside. You do still have to have an APA cover page and all that. So what are we doing here? Think of this as an autobiography of sorts. In addition to writing about your life, focus on things that you find interesting. You're going to choose 5 or more things that you find interesting in some way. They could be hobbies, sports, crafts, cultural activities, theme parks, games, movies, music. Really, the sky is the limit. Feel free to explore something you really want to do but haven't had a chance to do yet. So some of these may be things that you have accomplished that you're really good at, but others might be things that you haven't tried. I mentioned scuba diving because I've been wanting to do that. I have a couple of friends, like one of my friends is obsessed with taking the little ride a motorcycle class, but keeps chickening out. And another one wants to learn violin as a grown-up, which is, I think, is really cool. So write about why these interest you and inspire passion. And while you don't have to do this, consider how these passions might become fields of study or work. The focus, though, should be sharing the interest. We're not, like I said, we're not really trying to create a resume here. We're trying to create something fun. So you're going to have an introduction. You're going to have the body, which talks about the 5 or more interests, and then you're going to have a conclusion. This is a 25-point assignment, so obviously I don't expect you to spend hundreds of hours on this, but this is going to show you how your grades are broken down, what you're going to be graded on, and that rubric is always important because you're going to want to check it not only as you're doing the assignment, but before you turn it in, so that you can catch anything that you didn't do and make those corrections before submitting it. When you are ready to turn it in, you click on Start Assignment. And I just didn't scroll down. And then this box will open, and this is where you will want to upload your file. I have not chosen a file yet. Let me just choose one at random. I'm going to click on this. I click open, and then I click submit. Okay. I'm not going to actually submit it because I don't even know what that document is. But that's your goal for this week. Two things, the quiz and this. Have some fun with it. Feel free to put visuals in it. I did not require that for this one, but you are going to have a lot of assignments down the road that do require to use visuals. So if you want to get started doing that as well, that is fine. Last reminder, I did want to show you that on the home page, you do have a direct link to the Library and Learning Center. To get to the Citation Center page, and a note, you do have access here to the Writing Center if you want some extra help with that. Under the libraries, the Citation Center is the first page, and this is where you can access the APA citation guide as well as sample papers. We are using the student sample paper template. It is much easier than it used to be. I'm a big fan of the changes that APA made recently. But those are your marching orders for week 2. Most importantly, of course, if you have questions, please reach out. You can always reach me through the inbox. And of course, if it's a question about the assignment in general, go ahead and post it to the discussion board. And that way everybody can have the answer at the same time. The Q&A discussion board is also linked off of the homepage. So everyone take care. Oh, and then of course, as grades come back in through the last week, you can click on your grades and it's going to tell you what your, I of course have not done, I'm the sample student and I haven't turned in anything. But once there's a score here, when you click on the name, it will take you to where you get your feedback. So I'll remind you that kind of midweek, but most of the things that have been turned in ahead of Sunday have already been graded and given back to you. So if you haven't seen your feedback, feel free to double check that. All right, everybody, I hope you have a great week, and I will see you next Monday if I don't talk to you between then and now. Take care.